Game 3 in the late window. Detroit, Arizona. This is an interesting spot for me, Sean, because I love the Cardinals, but I'm also pretty high on the Lions. Lions coming off a remember this loss. Dan Campbell, lots of coaching moments. Now they're laying 3 on the road, -146 on the money line. Arizona +124. 51.5 is the total.
Did you watch that video of Kyler Murray's social media is hilarious. He's riding like one of those big bikes with the high handlebars and the crazy
he's leaning
long
in.
mirrors, and he's just like riding through a neighborhood, a bicycle, and there's like his social dudes interviewing him. He's like, yeah, a lot of guys talking, I ain't listening, and we got to keep doing it. He's
new Russ.
He's millennial Russ. He's millennial Russ. He's got like the same talking points, but it's like from a young guy's point of view. I mean, this is interesting. This nugget was fun. Cardinals are home underdogs after scoring over 40 points in their previous games. Only 2 teams have closed as home dogs in September after scoring 40 plus points the previous game since 2010. Dolphins versus Bills in 2022 and 2018 Bucks versus Eagles, both won and covered in those spots. This is interesting because you have a hungry Lions team who feels like they're still a little banged up. And I'm worried that the Cardinals are going to be a public dog here, but there's a lot of spots where you like the Lions. You like the Lions off a loss in general. As much as I've given them shit, Jared Goff, pretty good ATS, especially in a dome. I do like the matchup for the Lions of Hutchinson against the Cardinals offensive line. If you watch that Bucks game, Baker was the leading rusher for the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think Kyler Murray could have himself a field day scrambling around.
We've talked about this before. Aaron Glenn does not defend mobile quarterbacks well. His defensive scheme is not good against mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I also think the secondary, this Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, Michael Wilson receiving core looks pretty solid. And I don't know. This is an interesting game to me. I think it definitely could end up being a shootout. Yeah. I believe Arizona can keep pace with Detroit. To me, this comes down to another question about is Detroit going to forget about the run game again?
Yeah. That was
this
weird
is now
because
2 games in a row. They forgot about the run game.
Something they could do to attack.
It cost them a game. They almost cost themselves the game doing it against the Rams.
Yeah.
They actually cost themselves the game doing it against the Bucks. Maybe I don't know. Maybe their offensive coordinator not that sharp. He got baited into something. I don't understand what
Dan Campbell's apology was. I was like cracking up. He goes,
don't.
I had to just tell those guys that it was on me. That loss was on me. At the end of the half, where they forgot to, what was it? It was like too many men on the field. They didn't get the playoff. They're a little sloppy, man. They're a little. If there was a early team that was reading their own press clippings, and a little asleep behind the wheel, it might be this Lions team. I'm going to go Arizona. I'm a little worried the public dog has fleas here, though.
I kind of think the play is Detroit, actually.
Really? Yeah,
I don't. We mentioned this on the recap show. There was a pretty hefty yard differential in that Detroit Tampa game. And I mentioned it at least as a reason. Maybe we might be looking to take Detroit and fading Tampa this week. Turns out I landed perfectly in that situation. Cause I will take Detroit.
What's the money split?
50-50.
Yeah. All right. I'll take Arizona. Cause I think if I had to pick a game where a field goal is going to matter, it's going to be this.
Well,
game.
And I'd also say that I like Arizona. But we saw Arizona in an optimal spot where their defense was getting home and they blew a team out that kind of packed it in early.
Yeah.
And there was a lot wrong with that Rams team. I think Detroit's in a completely different situation. They're not unless we see a Amon-Ra or something go down early into the game, I'll feel pretty good about this one. This Dan Campbell coming off a loss like that, I think you lay the points here.
I'll stick with Arizona.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't expect that.
Well, I'm on Rob with the quad injury. Anzalone is a little banged up. Terrion Arnold.
I like Arizona, but I do think Arizona is going to get destroyed by good offenses.
Could be. Hey Ryan, while we're here, why don't we hop in the lab real quick? sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. I'm gonna borrow Spud's safety glasses. What's your NFL models say, Ryan?
Well, they probably, I mean, I will say in general, I did do some investigation of my models before. I saw someone earlier in the chat said, don't show those graphs to my models. They're very sexy.
I saw Rhythm had an awesome week last week.
Yeah.
Dominated. They're all over the dogs.
In general, I would say my models seem to lean dog, but a part of what helped me maybe get the tiebreaker to the Lions, both Bubba and Stacy like the Lions -3.
Ryan,
and to see an AI model like that, although I was handcrafted by me, to see the model be on a favorite, as Sean mentioned, pretty rare to see.